Previously on No Place Like Home.
Didn't realise this until having a bit of an open dialogue communication with my wife. This is where all this is coming from. I think I've got a little bit of a anxiety because of work and knowing what could happen and seeing these signs and going, she needs this. What am I going to do? I don't want to lose my best friend. I don't want to lose my first child. So
oh my God, I'm going to cry. You said I don't want to lose my best friend. Shit.
It was a lot. Yeah. So
How did your first experience then go on to inform your second experience?
It's interesting. Coming up to the second one, when we fell pregnant for the next child, we had a bit of a talk about, because we had moved in that time, so we weren't, not that there was anything against that hospital, but based on where we were, the location, the closest hospital for us to book into was a different hospital. Right. So whether it be the same staff, different staff, doesn't matter. The experience could be similar. It could be different. Plan for everything, I suppose, and go from there. So my wife brought up again, do you remember back when we had our first son, we talked about having that home birth? I said, yeah. She said, how do you feel about it now? I said, okay.
Oh, wow.
How do I feel about it now? After the experiences we had with the first one in hospital, and not to say that everyone goes through that, some people go through amazing natural, non-medicinal births at hospital or even at home. There's a chance we could have that at home. There's a chance we might not. I said, you know what? Let's look into it. Let's do some research, see what's available. What are you thinking? She goes, well, like you've done that. I've got this little information sheet I've made up for you to have a look at. I've already been doing research. Like, oh, wow. Fantastic. You've done your homework. So I had a look over it. I said, okay, so we're looking at a private midwife who has a scope of practice where she can provide assessments, make some referrals to specialists or doctors and do ongoing checks and come in and see you at home. Not clinic-based, actually come into your home, sit down with you, have a cup of tea. Even with my son, being in attendance, would explain to him what this little tool is and what it does. Do you want to have a go and help me out? I'm like, this is great. She's got great people skills. This is amazing. So I said to my wife, if we're going to do this, I've got a couple of questions for the midwife. So on the first interview, I suppose you could call it, to book someone in, because of my background, I want to make sure that whoever our private midwife is on their game clinically. Recognise a few of the signs and symptoms for a clinical trajectory if it is to go wrong, and what are they going to do in that circumstance. And again, being regionally and having now, since having my son, having that foresight and experience and learning from that and being able to apply that at work, there's been some people who have said, I might have training, I might not, and it turns out that they don't have the training, which has ended up in the detriment of the mum and the bub. And so I just wanted to, again, this is my best friend. I want to make sure that whoever we're getting is going to be on their game. So it was great. The first midwife we had, I think she has 20 plus years as a private midwife in the area. I don't know how many babies she's assisted in delivering and supporting. It's amazing. This lady is amazing.
So you felt safe with her and her experience.
And all the questions that I had for her, I just had to ask her.
She knew.
She told me exactly what I needed to hear. And I was like, perfect. You know your stuff. You know what's going to happen. You know the risks. You know when to go, actually, we need more help. We need high expertise. This person needs to actually go to this specific hospital for these interventions. And part of her service was she doesn't relinquish all care. She will come with you as a support person, knowing your whole story and everything to help on the way.
You've still got that continuity of care if you end up having to
which is really
hospital.
important.
Really
important to have and not get lost amongst
Yeah.
different staff and being handed over continuously, and then your story of what's been happening to you to get treated appropriately doesn't get lost along the way.
So then you agreed on having a home birth. I take
Yeah.
it from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I did. And after meeting this with my wife, I said, yep, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's give it a go.
How far away
What's-
were you from a hospital, from the closest hospital?
From where we lived, doing the speed limit, not in an ambulance, it'd be about, I think, 10 minutes,
Okay.
10 to 15, depending on peak traffic.
So close enough to get there
if anything.
if anything went
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, not a hospital that has any specialist interventions if needed. But again, go there, get your stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did it
How did
turn
it all go?
out? How did it go?
So the way I had planned my next lot of leave to be paternity leave, to be ready for the birth and do the same kind of thing, except this time kind of being aware of the stuff that needs to be done, except we've now got
A tiny human.
another human
yeah.
here. Someone's going to look after. Okay, that's all on me. Cool. Anyway, plan A didn't work because we went over by a little bit, and I ended up being on a shift on cover probably about 45 minutes away.
I feel like this is going somewhere, Shane. Oh my gosh.
And it was interesting. So I was basically in the next town, and I just said, look, anything, just message me, call me, doesn't matter. Just if I don't answer, I'm obviously with a patient doing something important, but I'll get to you when I can. Just keep me in the loop if anything changes. So she said, what was it? It was either, I think I'd just gotten to the station to sign on, and I've got these weird feelings through my abdomen. And I said, what do you mean weird? She goes, just cramps. But I said, is there any chance that this is it? Like, have you started contractions? And she goes, no, it doesn't feel like it. So okay.
Uh-oh.
Not at all. She goes, nah, like nothing, nowhere close as our first son. Nothing even comparatively. I'm like, okay. So you've got cramps. She goes, yep. So if you like period cramps. Yeah, kind of, but I wouldn't even call it that, like a small niggle. It's like, no worries. Looked at the time, made a note on my phone, started this time. We'll wait and see. We'll just wait and see.
Yeah.
Because at this stage, the nights leading up to today, this day, she felt that the position of this second bub was different.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it was had shifted, so it felt potentially posterior again.
Oh.
So keeping that in our mind, we'll just have some kind of my wife downloaded an app to kind of track the timings and durations, so she could see firsthand, is it irregular? Is it normal? Are things similar to our first son? And if it is, then we kind of have an idea of maybe manipulating the position, getting the midwife to do some tips and like fancy tricks and see what happens. So the day's gone on, and I think a few hours later sent her a message and said, hey, you traveling? How's the day going? I get a picture message, I think. I'll fast forward. It's probably 8 o'clock at night. And it's a screenshot of her app with the timing and duration. I went, so do you think those cramps are contractions now? She's like, yeah, maybe. I think so. Yeah. So, okay, the timing's a little bit sooner, a bit more regular. She goes, yeah, it is. I'm like, okay, no worries. Do you want me to come home? Keeping in mind I'm in the next town, 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
And if there's a chance I could be pulled further away from where we are. We could be 3 towns over on the coast doing a very big job with someone unwell that will, instead of finishing at 11 at night, we might finish at 4 in the morning. But, okay, right. He said, what are you thinking? I think I'm going to go home. Really? Yeah, she's having contractions and they've sped up. He goes, yep, go home. Go for it. don't stay. Don't miss it. I was like, nah, good, no worries.
Oh my God.
So I rang my wife and I said, I'm gonna come home.
And had she called the midwife at this point? No. the denial about being in labour is
Yeah,
real.
there's
I
a
can
face
relate.
that
It's
Shane's
relate.
pulling right now.
So
Like, no,
real.
she did
It's
not.
so real. So I sent her a message and said, I'm about to leave. How's everything going? And I received another screenshot of her app, and the timing's like it's all over the shop, but it's also there's a little bit of regularity. Mm-hmm. So I said, what's going on here? Do you feel it's irregular? And she said, this is me trying to start and stop it whilst managing a 3-year-old who was meant to be in bed 2 hours ago. I went, okay, cool. I gotcha. No worries. Do you think it's a little bit sooner? The timing and space is closer.
It's closer together.
Have you said anything to our midwife yet? She said, I haven't yet, and I don't think it is close enough, because the midwife had said to us, when you get to a specific time and duration, and it's very close, it was like 5 minutes and 40 seconds, to let her know, because she doesn't live in our area. She lives an hour away. So she has to...
Oh, my goodness me. The anticipation in my body right now.
she
And your
has to
wife is
drive
probably
up.
also putting her last labour, and thinking about how long that took.
But she's
and
managing a 3-year-old
I
as well,
know.
like trying to
Oh
get a
my
3-year-old
gosh.
to bed, and like just the
a lot.
whole vibe.
It's a lot. That's why I was like, I gotta get home. I gotta go. So I got home. The house was quiet. I went, oh, okay. Must be asleep. And I went upstairs, and my wife's in bed on the phone next to the 3-year-old who's finally asleep. I said, how you going? She goes, I just finished my timings. I was like, okay, you all good? She's like, yeah, we still got time. It's, still like 10 minutes or so apart. We're okay. Okay, no worries. What would you like me to do? Do you want me to get you some hydrolyte, some water? Are you just resting? She goes, no, I honestly just want you to go to sleep after a big day. Rest up in case, it's game
Case we're on.
Yeah. So I went to bed. I woke up to her, Dad, hey mate, what's going on? Where's Mum? She's next to you, isn't she? Oh, she's not there. Okay, let's go find her. I was thinking, oh, you know what? No, she would have woken me up. Someone would have woken me up if something had happened. Yeah, definitely. She's probably just downstairs pacing or doing something. I should also say my mum was at home
Oh,
as
she was
well.
with you as well.
Yeah, because part of our plan for this birth was so I could also provide support and care to my wife, was to have my mum kind of tend to my son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And then where we had our birthing area in our living room, we had a birthing pool, low light, some oils, some affirmation cards around, and we just had the door open, and then we had all our living room stuff set up in another room, the playroom. So my son could just
hang out
there with my mum. If he wanted to come in, he can come in. We'll explain to him what's going on. He can hang out with us, do whatever he likes, and just be included and feel comfortable and not scared or shied away from the experience, me part of it. So I've come downstairs with my son, and my wife's pacing towards me, and she's just got a bit of a waddle going on. I'm like, oh, how you going? She goes, oh, yeah, those cramps and now contractions is definitely coming on. I'm like, okay, what's the timing? She goes, oh, just 1 minute. And I see she's about to vomit. She runs to the bathroom, has vomit, comes back. I'm like,
She's in transition. Has she called the midwife yet?
So I just said, oh, okay, how you going? Was that your first vomit, or have you been vomiting? I didn't realize you were feeling like this.
Oh my God.
She said, oh, I am, no, that was it. I had one before, but this was, and now, feel a bit different down here. I'm like, okay. Anything comparative to our first son? No, still different. Okay, cool. No worries. Should we go to... and then this wave of contractions hit, and it is like 10 times bigger than the set that I just saw before when I met her at the bottom of the stairs. So I'm just letting her go through it. I get my son, who's just like, what's going on? Like,
Is
it's
mummy okay?
It's all right. Mum's all right. Her body's just getting ready for for your baby brother to come into the world. Yeah, he's knocking, going, hello, I'm ready. He goes, okay. I was like, come on, come down here. So I said to my mum, just gave her some rules with our son. Don't give him red cordial after midnight, return into a gremlin, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I said, look, if he wants to come over and see us, bring him over, and we would just want calm, positive energy, nothing scary.
Yeah.
My mum doesn't do well with panic and anxiety, I realised.
Right.
I thought she did growing up, and then I realised with our first son at hospital, she was, it's amazing, total wreck. Anyway, so we wanted her to tend to him, be there. That wave of contractions finished. I said to my wife, all right, birthing suite, let's go.
Got to get you in
Get
that
in
order.
there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Did you call the midwife?
So that's what I said. Did you send her a message? Have you contacted her? She goes, I think so. I was like, you think so? And I'm like, okay, no worries. Where's your phone? Picked up her phone. She's going over. Another wave hits. I'm like, that was not 10 minutes. That was like 5. All right, where's the midwife? There's the midwife. My wife's gotten onto her knees and hands up on the lounge. Perfect position for birthing. And she's breathing heavy through this wave of contractions. And so I've got the phone. I'm trying to go through, find the midwife's number to find out if I can call her, send her a message, figure out if she's already been notified. Turns out at some time she did notify her. It was probably like 5 to 10 minutes before I'd gotten up that my timing's this. Midwife's replied with an emoji of a baby's face and thumbs up, which means she's awake, she's on her way. Cool, no worries. I have then put the phone down. I said, you've contacted the midwife, they're coming. I'm going to try and call the backup midwife and hopefully have someone come over soon. Before I did that, I just said, do you mind if I do the medical side, just inspect to see if we're progressing or not? And shouldn't have asked her during the middle of a contraction because she kind of bit my head off and just was like, don't touch me.
Yeah, fair.
I'm like, yeah, that's okay. No worries. It's all right. We'll breathe through it. Just ride the wave. And it's interesting. It had been, my oldest son is 3 years, so it's probably been 3.5 years since I've done the calm birthing class and those techniques. But it all just came straight back.
That's good.
And so we started going through that same kind of cyclic
Process.
breathing and affirmation talk again. So I talked her through it. It stopped. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, don't apologize. You're going through your thing. It was the wrong time. Is it okay if I do some medical checks? And she's like, yep. So I have a look and we've got perineum bulging, anal starring, and I've gone, oh man.
You're going to be delivering a baby.
All right, this is happening. Oh, the birth pool. Oh my God, I got to fill this up. And it's like a 20 to 50 litre tub. So I don't know if people are really aware of what a birth pool is, but it's basically inflatable pool, a little bit like your inflatable kids pool, but a bit bigger, in a lining, and it's got a bit that has a seat in it. So you can sit on it or you can kneel on it, some cup holders and handles. Fantastic. It's great. Really cushiony. So I had a 15, 20 metre hose from the kitchen sink running in, filling it up as fast as I could to the right temperature whilst trying to coach her on her breathing and just support her through it and keep her warm because it's August, it's cold. It's very cold. The next wave comes through and I'm assisting her again. And I said, look, I'm just going to have another look. She's like, yep, something just feels a bit off. I was like, no, it's okay. As I have a look, I notice that the head's trying to come through. I'm going, okay. She's like, is everything okay? And I said, have you finished? Is the wave finished? She said, yep. All right. You need to get up and get in that pool now. She goes, what? I was like, yeah. It just hop in. It's not full. Just get in. You need to get in there right now. So she got up, assisted her over, waddled over. As soon as she got into the water, and the water was about 38 degrees, the relief that the water gave her was instant. Like just her mannerisms, her body language, the way she was talking, just complete relief. Yeah. And prior to that, she just had a TENS machine on, which was at the max. But yeah, and she just, I said, how is the water comparatively to the TENS machine? She said, it's just completely different because
Pulls
it's just not
apart.
targeted to those muscles. It's my whole body is
Full
now in
body.
relief.
Yeah.
This is great. It's like, cool, no worries. Anyway, while that's happening, I said, just you get yourself in a position of comfort. If you want to, you know, be upright in a squat, if you want to be on all fours, if you want to just sit there for a moment. She goes, no, I think I need to be on my knees and up on my arms. It's like, yep, no worries. Again, it's
Good position.
It's like the perfect position for getting out a baby. I've pulled out my phone and I've looked for the backup midwife's phone number, who was meant to be about 15 minutes away. I've gone to call her and the next wave's come through and I've just thrown my phone. I've just left it there somewhere and I don't know what I was doing, ringing out or whatever. It didn't get a hold of her for whatever reason. And I just, because it's dim lit, I've just put on a torch, threw it in the water so I could see what was happening. And I can see my wife really like, I think this is it. I think I've got the urge. And I was like, yep, you just have to ride it. You've got to ride it. You've got to really just give it your all. So she's trying and I could just see she's hitting exhaustion, but nothing like with the first one. And then as my second son's head's kind of coming through, it's kind of gone back up, and I just see her just sit there and she's just shaking. I say, "Are you okay?" She goes, "I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is too much." It's so, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay to feel like that. This is like, it's you and me. We're at home. My son's with my mum in the other room. He's come in, had a check. He's gone back. You know, everything's okay.
Everything's okay.
You've done this before, but it was 52 hours in a hospital with like 10 staff, medical staff, poking, prodding, touching you, talking to you, annoying you. You've got just me. So far, it's only been a couple of hours, and you've already done so much more than you did in the first one. You've got this.
And that feeling of that crisis of confidence is another sign of transition, right? Like when you think you can't do it, you're doing it, you're
Self-doubt.
there, you
It's
are
huge.
about to have your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah.
And I said, look, this with all this talk, this is not the exact words I said to her. It's
Of course.
similar,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And I just said, you can do this. Remember, your body is kind of going through like a muscle memory phase of opening everything up, which is why it's happening a lot sooner. You can definitely do this. And this next wave of contractions and that urge to push, when you do it, you give it your all. And this is probably, this part of this phase is going to be the hardest part on you to push through. All right. Once it's through, you're going to have that relief. All right. Just, you've got this. Let's do it. You've got this, babe. Let's do it. And that animalistic grunting starts, and my son's kind of come over with mum to, what's going on? I'm like, it's okay, bud. This is so normal. It's like, okay. I'm like, it's all right. I'm looking after mum. She's going to be okay. You're okay. Do you want to stay? No.
Yeah,
That's all
darling.
right. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'll call you back in a little bit. As she starts grunting and riding the wave of contractions and pursed-lipped horse breathing, his head's come through. I'm like, oh my God, this is happening.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
happening.
delivering
Cool.
my second child.
Oh no, here we go. And
This midwife's really annoying me, I have to say. She's not there yet.
that was the last thing on my mind at that point.
Absolutely.
And my wife just said, what was that? And I said, oh, his head's come through.
out.
His head's out. She went, what? I was like, yeah,
That's
doing
the
this.
hardest bit.
that's-
Done. Oh my gosh.
that's it. And now the next bit is the rest of the body. And I said, look, I just have to do some quick medical kind of checks. And she's like, okay. And so I've had a look. And I'm like, all right, best friend dad hat off, paramedic hat on. What have I got? His head's out. Oh, the sack's intact. Right. There's no cord. Remember how I was saying with the first birth, that anxiety
Yeah.
of having this kind of the complications at home and wondering what if it was to go this way or what would I do? So I kind of thought about it for a bit and remembered that. So this midwife, part of my questions, she actually ran through with me what she brought in. And so she has a fair few of the things that we would carry in the truck here. So there's like cannulation kit, there's some stuff to resuscitate the baby, there's some medication to give my wife if she's having a bleed,
A hemorrhage or something.
and things like that. I thought, you know what, I've got this, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay, cool, we've got this. It's just seeing this baby's head in the sack still intact, and it's just doing its thing. Just hit me a little bit. I thought, no, it's okay. Wait, who's working tonight? Who's on shift that's around? Cool. They're pretty good. Yep, I can call them. That's fine.
It's amazing
I'm happy
the
for them
thoughts
to
you
see-
have in moment
see
of like,
see my wife in this presentation. Yep. It was so many thoughts so quickly, managing it all, and then writing down a quick time because we need that for the medical records that his head's come out.
Yeah.
And then I just said to my wife, I was like, okay, next wave, let's do it, go for it. She's like, okay, no worries. So next wave comes, she rides it, pushes through, body comes through, and I'm just supporting his body because he's submerged in water.
Yeah.
Her half her torso is in water. As he comes through, does all the normal beautiful stuff that the body does as it comes back, rotates, the sac tears, comes out, and I'm just holding him, pulled him out of the water. I'm holding him like this, looking at him like, wow, hey, his hair's like dark brown. It's like mine, but straight. Okay, completely opposite. Wow, this is crazy. Cool.
oh my God.
Whoa, we just did this. And then I had to do some other medical assessments and then give him that really good rub,
Yeah.
that stimulation to open up his airways, close all the holes between his lungs and his heart, and hear that first cry. And I know a lot of people aren't aware of that first cry and think that, why is the baby crying? Are they cold? Are they upset when they are first delivered? But it's actually a normal process for the body to close off all those holes because they don't have that support of oxygen delivered blood from mum anymore. It's the first time that they're breathing the atmosphere's
their own.
oxygen to close
Yeah.
up those holes and do it for themselves. So it's normal. We need that in a healthy child. So I gave him a really good rub, heard that first beautiful cry, and my wife was just like, did we just have a baby? I was like, oh yeah, we did. Yeah, that's what I've been doing this whole time. Just
Oh
yeah.
my God.
I said, yeah. Do you want to roll over and
Hold him.
I'll do it in chest. And then my mum came over crying. She's like, is that a baby over here? Holding my son's hand. I said, yeah, it is. Come on over. Come on. And they came over.
How beautiful.
Yeah.
And then did the midwife come?
So my mum's like, oh, someone's at the door. I was like, yeah, no worries. It's probably the midwife. Let's in this lady. This lady comes over. I'm going, hi, my name's Shane. Who are you? She said, I am the backup midwife. I said, oh, okay. What happened to the other?
The original and the backup.
So the original's still on her way. The backup midwife that I called, none of us know what's happened to her, if she's okay, anyway, that's
so
other
you had
stuff.
a midwife.
So we had
there,
someone
though.
come in, and I just kind of gave her a handover and just said what had happened, the timings, and
Oh, she would have been
numbers
so
and stuff,
gutted to
because
miss
it was
it.
just like they have to fill that out for medical records with the
Yeah,
government for birthing. And she's like, you guys have done everything. I've
How
not really got much to do.
amazing.
So yeah. It was
So two
cool.
very stark experiences.
Completely opposite
Like
ends, yeah.
you couldn't get any more opposite.
And your wife, was she like, because I guess when she gave birth in the hospital, so when she gave birth in the hospital versus when she gave birth at home, the immediate afterwards, did you notice a big difference in how she was immediately afterwards?
It was so different.
Yeah.
And I think, comparing the two with, I suppose this touches again on people in health, in medicine, in the medical field, not having those people skills to actually sit down and explain stuff in a calm and simplified approach.
Yeah.
Don't use heavy medical jargon. Just
Yeah.
dull it down so everyone can understand what's going on, what's happening, and give them a choice and a voice. And let them speak. Don't decide for them. Don't push them down this route or this route.
It unfortunately happens.
Which it happens a lot, heaps, all the time. Annoys me even in my job that I'll even stand up for patients and their welfare against other medical professionals. But so in this instance, going back to your question, Jess, sorry, completely different.
Yeah.
The energy and vibe, because it was at home in a calm, relaxed space without heaps of people interjecting.
Bright lights.
Oh, no bright lights. It was like very hard to see. I should get my eyes tested. Yeah,
Very
amazing.
different
Very
experience.
amazing. Everyone was calm. Everyone was relaxed. The room was just so warm.
She must have felt so
was just
incredible
like,
afterwards
yeah.
as well. That feeling.
Her cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
Yeah,
It was just like,
So beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
So how was your second experience postpartum?
I mean, having your mum there right away would have been great, right? Like,
so mum was there for both. So my mum's in her 50s, and I think the time that she's had away from friends and family in those circumstances and situations, it's probably become a bit harder for her to see loved ones in that kind of pain, stress, tiredness, and feeling like she can't help. So I think that kind of got to her
yeah.
with our first and in a hospital base where she's not sure what people are doing or what's happening around her. So part of our birth plan for our second was have her come in here and there, but be with our son.
Yeah.
And help our son with feeling comfortable, feeling loved, supported, and not push aside, be included in everything. If he wants to know anything, explain it to him simply so he actually understands. Don't hide anything from him. Don't, I suppose, scare him from the situation.
Yeah.
Make it all positive. If something's a bit hard for you to explain and you having trouble with whether it's something he needs to know, come and get me and I'll try to explain to him so he understands the best that he can. And having her to then do that with him was a huge help for us. But then knowing that we've been through this before with mum, the postpartum care afterwards, she I didn't know this, but she already was like cooking the last couple of nights when I was at work
Amazing.
and freezing stuff. She's already on top of it.
Yeah.
That's already done.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a
And
huge help, isn't
it's
it?
it's
Having
massive
the meals
helping out
done.
with all that stuff.
The other pair of hands just takes that load off and allows that space and time to really sort of bond together as a unit of three, but then also the mother and baby to also have that really special time.
Together.
Does your mum live in Melbourne now, or where does she live?
No, she lives in New South Wales.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had to.
Fly down.
Fly
Yeah.
down, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, that was the first one.
What would you, so with the benefit of hindsight, would there have been in the postpartum stage, you were amazing clearly through the births, but in the postpartum stages, would there have been anything different that you would have done? Or do you, I suppose for people listening,
Yeah.
If you've got any advice or.
yeah, if there's anything with the benefit of hindsight, would there have been anything different that you would have done in the after?
And I guess also, how was your partner? Sorry, we're now firing questions at you, but how,
No, it's okay.
the not just immediately after birth, but that general postpartum first few weeks at home. How was her, state of well-being and her energy and everything comparatively?
Yeah. Besides the physical tiredness
Yeah.
side to it, and that huge adjustment, I think I'd try and check in on her, you know, every day to make sure she's feeling okay, that there isn't anything she feels is too hard or too much on her plate that I can help her with. And then also letting her know that if she's feeling any emotional stress or fatigue, even though it seems like you're not giving much emotion to a newborn, but you are. It's it's a constant give and take. It just to have that talk. If you feel comfortable talking to me, talk to me. Just be honest, open and honest, and let's have a chat about it. If you want to have, if you feel like you're not comfortable talking to a doctor, let's go see someone else and talk to someone if we need that, whether it's a counsellor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, even at the midwife appointments, talk to them. But obviously it just depends on who you vibe with.
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge part, that whole connection piece and opening.
And touching on that, I suppose, I didn't mention this before, but during that postpartum stage after our first and trying to help with things around home, I had this feeling of helplessness as well in helping out. And it's not like I wish I could also breastfeed, that'd be cool, but it's just having that connection and wanting to help out as much as I can with my son and my wife. I wish I could have been there more to do stuff, but I just couldn't. And talking to her about it after kind of holding on to those feelings and emotions and not letting her know any of those stresses I had, because I didn't want to burden her. She's already got enough going on. She doesn't need any more.
Did you feel like you had anyone to talk to about those feelings, or you sort of just kept them to yourself?
Just myself, really, until...
Which we don't recommend for anyone
No,
listening, but,
don't do it. Always open up.
Yeah.
And I think it was maybe a couple months afterwards, there was a friend at work who's a bit older than me. His kids are older. And I've actually just started back at work, and he asked how it's all going. And I kind of just, blasé said, "Oh, it's amazing, this and that." And he's like, "Oh, yeah. How are you going?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know how I'm going. I think I'm ready to be back. I don't know." And I kind of just opened up to him about that feeling of helplessness, and I wish I could do more, but I can't. And
I bet you were doing amazingly, and I bet your wife thinks you were doing a lot.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
It's
that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really important thing for us to talk about, because I dare say, well, it's now 1 in 10 men are experiencing postnatal depression and anxiety.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it
1 in 10.
1 in 10.
I mean, because it flips your life on its head too, right? Like, the person who's giving birth has the most changes emotionally, physically. Everything changes for the person giving birth. But often the partner, your needs come last. There's everyone before you, and no one's checking in on you. So we really advocate for everyone filling their cup. And, as a doula, I'm often, when I go to my doula clients' houses, it's okay. How can we make sure everyone's needs are taken care of? Okay, Dad, you want to go for a run? Now's your time. I'm here. I've got this. Go do what you need to do. Whatever it is to make you feel, because then you can be a bit of support as well. So often dads fall into this role of work and family. Yeah. And all the hobbies fall away, the friends fall away, and then they find themselves in a midlife crisis because, once the kids grow up and they look around and go, "Oh, I've got nothing left for me."
Yeah.
And so it's really important. I'm glad you had a work colleague to actually properly check in with you, because often
it doesn't
happen.
Get filled. No. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And I think the takeaway from that experience moving forward with any friends or family that are about to have their first child, or even so they've had some time between first to second and they're about to go through it again but don't remember because it's been so long, I'll actually have a chat to them and be like, so I don't know if anyone's talked to you about that period post-birth coming home. Like, no, just that it's tiring. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want to frighten you, but And I'll just have a casual conversation about it, you know, a few jokes here and there, but just so there's a bit of awareness.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And that if they need support, we're not too far away.
Yeah.
I'm not that great of a cook. I'm okay, but I can try. Oh, I'm a much better cook than I am. I'll make you a couple meals and
Yeah. I
check in
suppose
from
they're
time to time.
really good practical tips, aren't they? Because that seemed to make a difference with you having a mum there and doing the meals. And
Yeah,
It's
the meals
amazing
were
how-
handy when you're just
Yeah.
exhausted and
Yeah.
tired. Catching up on housework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one more question. Have you assisted in any other births since being at your wife's birth? Like, have you been called to any other jobs as a paramedic?
Yeah.
Where you've so it's
It's so because of what I've been through pre my kids coming into the world, having my kids and then post and learning so much more through both experiences, I can then use that at work to my advantage for expectant mums, new mums, and have that chat to them that, remember, your body's made to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Body
It's
knows
okay to
what
feel
to do.
scared. It knows what it's
Yeah.
going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not intervening.
Yeah.
I'm supporting you. That's it. There's no need for me to intervene unless I won't say, but
there is
Yeah,
there
and
is
there
an
is
emergency
an
of some
absolute
sort.
emergency.
Yeah.
Then it's a different story. And I haven't done any actual births. I've just missed out on 30 seconds to a minute imminent delivery. I walk through the door and
The
Bub's
baby's
already
out.
out.
Yeah.
The cord's still attached.
Yeah.
There's all the messy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll get into this bubble.
Yeah.
I'll absorb some.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Shane.
More than
What
It
a
was so nice
journey.
chatting with you.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story and just really bringing focus to those feelings that you felt in that postpartum as a father. I think it's really important. So thank you very much for sharing
Thanks for
your
having me.
story.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
This podcast represents the opinions of our hosts and their guest speakers. Views and opinions expressed in the podcast are our own and do not represent that of our places of work. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and content here should not be taken as medical or professional advice. Please consult your healthcare professional for any personal recommendations and medical care. While we make every effort to ensure that the information we are sharing is accurate based on the best available information at the time of recording, we welcome any comments, suggestions or feedback via our website contact form, home.com.au/contact. Names and details of personal experiences may have been changed to allow for anonymity and privacy. To join the conversation, join us on social media at Home Postpartum.